Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time seeing my face, my name is Amina. I'm out here in Bali in a tree house. Actually, was not planning to film this video. Like it happens with most videos, I get ideas, I sit down and I just do them. If you guys have not seen my latest video, which is life advice from a 20-year-old, you should probably go watch that first so you kind of get an idea of what I am like. But today, the topic of this video, as you can tell, is confidence and how to be confident. The reason I wanted to film this is because someone asked me this yesterday, and it was a really good friend of mine. He asked me, how are you so confident in who you are in a society that judges people in every way that is possible? This was a really interesting question because it made me realize how far I've come from where I was last year. Specifically, what he was asking me about was my body shape and my body type, and how I've come to terms with how I look and how do I embrace it when the society literally tells us there's one size, one shape, and now that's changing. But in general, that's still the standards of beauty for a lot of people and in a lot of places. It can be a really hard thing to deal with, but today I will open up, share that with you, and hopefully this video will help someone. Before we get into the video, I am currently at a tree house called Stilt Studios near Canggu in Bali. Perfect location, beautiful views. If you guys want to see all the content that we shot today, you should totally subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram because the room tour is actually about to go up on both my TikTok and my Instagram. Credits to my favorite bikini brand, which is called Confidence Swimwear. I wear their stuff all the time. It's an all-inclusive, sustainable line that I absolutely love. Without further ado, let's get into this video. So one thing he asked me specifically, like I said, was about my body, and Jason took a really actually respectful approach asking this and said, I've got a question for you, and the reason I'm asking you is because I know that you're confident in who you are. There's no doubt that you're beautiful. We can all agree on that, and I just want to ask you because girls and people have come up to me and asked me, because I know you, they've asked me, how do you embrace your body and how are you so confident at such a young age and how do you carry yourself so well? And I know that it must be hard because the society is really tough on you, and you aren't only like that in person, but you're the same on social media, where social media can become really toxic. So I thought this was an extremely interesting topic, and we all have down days. We all sometimes feel like shit, and confidence is a constant work. Healing, confidence, growth is never a steady linear journey upwards. It's always up and down, but as long as you keep moving, eventually, even if it's like this, you're still technically moving up. I don't have all the days where I feel like I look absolutely great, but I never ever tell myself that I am ugly, that I'm fat, that I don't look good. These three things are not in my dictionary. They're not in my mind. Even if I don't feel good or I don't look good, I will never tell myself that I look awful or feel bad or don't look good. I will always say, all right, today's not the best day. I might not be feeling my best, but what can I do to make myself feel better? And most of the time that would be going to have a really healthy meal, going to take health shots and detox juices, or going to the gym. There are days when I'm really bloated and you can't really do anything. So instead of eating a lot like I used to do before, and I used to have a binge eating disorder, which a lot of people probably don't know, I would drink a lot of coconut water. This is what I have every single morning instead of a meal after I go to the gym. I've started intermediate fasting lately, and that's just because I feel really good only eating 8 hours a day and then fasting for 16. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm usually really hungry, but I don't eat. I work out after the gym. I never allow myself to eat just because I can't. So then I would stop by a coconut shop or by just a local lady that I always go to, get a coconut, get home, shower, have my coconut, wait a couple hours, and then I'll eat. Makes me feel really good. I also don't eat as late anymore. I don't eat past 8 o'clock, I believe. Another thing to say is that I'm not dieting. I'm never putting myself on a diet ever again. I do what I feel is good for my body, and I am constantly working on my body and constantly improving. So if I am really hungry and I know I'm getting a headache and I'm starving myself, I'll go and eat something. I'm trying to stick to those hours, but nothing ever is forced. If I feel some type of way, I'll change it, because when you start forcing yourself and you starting putting yourself in these really strict boundaries, it puts a lot of mental pressure on you. And as someone who's had an eating disorder, that's not a pattern that I want to get back to. My mindset and my mind are the healthiest they've ever been, so I want to stick to that, and I never want to put pressure on myself. So moving on from that, and moving on from being kind to myself and doing what feels right for me, sometimes, and probably most people assume that you get judged. Like, I've gotten videos on my YouTube channel, they're like, you're fat, no one will like you, and I don't really care. I literally do not care, because no one else's opinion about me matters but my own. What anyone else says about me has no effect on my life anymore. If it's people that are close to me and they're genuinely suggesting me something or telling me something, of course I'll take it. It matters, their opinion matters, and I will always respect it. But no one else's negative comments really get to me, because people most of the time are unhappy, and that's why they have that need to say something negative to other people, or they're projecting. They don't like themselves, they don't feel confident in themselves, and they want to project it onto others. So whenever anyone makes a rude comment to me, you can go through my YouTube comments. You will always see that I will reply with positivity no matter what that person said. They could have told me that I'm fat and they hope that I'm gonna die, and I'll say I hope you heal, I hope you grow, and I hope you have a nice day. That's just my approach to things. I don't take things personally anymore, just because it doesn't really matter. In high school, I used to want to be liked by everyone, and I used to want to be everyone's friend, and then it came with a lot of pressure of people pleasing, and I don't people please anymore. And I always will consider other people's feelings, just because I think it matters, not only your own feelings but someone else's. But I don't people please. Confidence is something that I've had since I was a child, because my mom told me I was beautiful, and I just knew I was beautiful. Like, I always looked in the mirror and I was like, I'm beautiful. Like, I really am. And I don't really care if anyone else says anything. Like, but then as I started growing up and I started getting my curves and I started gaining weight, there was a lot of pressure from people, from my parents. The approach that they took in wanting me to be healthy and wanting me to have a certain body type didn't really help. It brought me to the rock bottom, and I developed an eating disorder. I started having anxiety, and I had the unhealthiest relationship with food for good 4 years, where I was constantly gaining weight, constantly binge eating, sometimes throwing up, and never thinking of food in a positive way. Rather thinking that I will never have enough and that they will never let me eat what I want to eat, because they weren't. And they weren't doing it because they wanted me to really be healthy. It came from more, we want you to look like this, we want you to look like other girls, and we want you to be skinny and look like your mom. My mom's got no curves at all, and I'm different. It was a lot of pressure trying to look like someone that you can't look like. And I've lost weight before, I've fasted before, and I've done juice cleanses, and a lot of that came from having that pressure from my parents. I would have never done it unless I didn't want it to. So I also saw an issue and I saw a problem, but the way of dealing with it was always stressing my body out and stressing my mind out. So when I came to Bali, that's when I finally was able to reconnect with my body and mind and not have anyone else's opinions. And that's when I became really strong about who I am, because I grew as a person. I was eating healthy, I was working out, and even if the centimeters on my waist were not changing, I felt good and I felt powerful, and I felt like I wanted to empower and inspire other people to do the same. Because for the past 4 years I've been told that I was fat and ugly. I didn't know what to do with it, didn't know what the right solution is, wanted to listen to other people just so I could please them, so they would be happy and shut up and get out of my life. And in the end, I didn't know how to love myself, and I just hated how I looked. Nothing really changed in the way that I looked from a year ago to now, but my mind is different and my body is healthier. And I know it's healthier because the things I can do now are different. The way that I feel is different. You guys, I don't even know if I've said this, but I've been signed to a modeling agency as a plus size model. And even then, plus size is not what my agent calls me. My agent never says, hey, you're a plus size model, you're this and this. There's no reason to put someone into categories. I'm a curvy model. I've got curves. I've got a different body shape than the standard models and the standard modeling industry does. And it's beautiful. I think it's amazing. Only maybe 20% or 30% of the world looks a certain way. And there's nothing wrong with not having curves. That's beautiful. But it's also beautiful to have curves. And it's about time that we normalize different body shapes. Everyone is beautiful in the way that they are. And I feel like that really came to me when I was in Bali. And I was like, why does someone else's opinion about me have to affect me or affect my feelings? Like, my feelings and my response to anyone is not anyone else's responsibility but mine, right? We have all these triggers and we have these pinpoints that someone can point or someone can say something and they will trigger us. But who's the person that gets triggered? You. So once you start loving yourself and trusting yourself and being the best version of yourself and constantly trying to improve, no one else's opinion will matter to you because the triggers won't be triggers anymore. Sometimes triggers are truth that we really hate admitting, and to me that was not loving myself. So when people would call me fat or call me these things, they would actually get to me because I wasn't confident in who I was, because I wasn't the person I wanted to be, and I was constantly trying to people please and please others and become the person that other people wanted me to be. But now I am who I want to be and who I see myself being. And I'm not the best version of myself yet. I'm not perfect. No one is perfect. But I'm moving towards becoming a better person. And that's how confidence comes. If you are not confident in some part of yourself, work through that. For example, if that's your weight and you're really unhappy about how you look, find a way that makes you feel better. And there's nothing wrong with having curves or looking a certain way. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you don't like how you look, work through that. Write down what makes you feel that way, what triggers you, what makes you feel happy, and then you will see eventually what could be a solution to that. So for me, that was going to the gym. And my goal was not to lose weight. My goal was to be more fit, more healthy, have better cardio so I can go hiking and do all these things that I couldn't do before. And that's why when other people will say certain things to me, it doesn't get to me because sometimes I know it's true and sometimes I know that that's my problem. And if that triggers me, then I need to figure out why. That's how eventually you start loving yourself. When you open yourself up and admit to yourself what parts of yourself you don't like or don't love and how you can improve them. If it's your looks, learn to accept yourself and learn to love yourself the way that you are. But you're beautiful regardless. I don't know why you would ever doubt yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror every single day and tell yourself you're beautiful, because you are. Every single person is beautiful in their own way. Beauty actually doesn't come from the outside. It comes from the inside. Read the book A Power of Subconscious Mind. I've talked about it in my stories and my previous videos. It also helps with self-love, and it talks about how you should be kind to yourself, and the way that you talk to yourself is how you're gonna eventually treat yourself and how other people will treat you. If you guys don't know, I've recently started a new Instagram page which is called High Energy Supply. That is a page to inspire, empower, uplift, motivate, and support people with beautiful energy. One of the quotes that I posted was, "Can't become who you want to be without loving who you are first." And the reason that's so important is because if you see yourself as one version and who you want to be, for example, that is confident, ambitious, fit, beautiful, and those things come with, for example, working out really, really often and coloring your hair and putting makeup on and having a certain personality, and you will only be satisfied with yourself when you get there. You will never love yourself because you have to love the core of you. Imagine you get to that point, you have all these things that make you love yourself, and then one day something goes wrong, one of those things goes away or one of those things fades. Then what? You're gonna stop loving yourself just because that thing isn't there? No, you have to love yourself for who you are, rock bottom, raw, vulnerable, everything. You have to love every single part of you in order to be able to grow and actually love yourself, if that makes sense. You have to love every part of yourself, even the parts that you hate. There are parts about myself that I don't like. I'll never say that I hate them, but there are parts of myself that I don't like. Certain traits, I love them about me because they remind me of where I was before, or what I can let go of and what I can improve. Even the bad parts of you, love them, acknowledge them, and make sure that you learn how to not be that person through having that trait, for example. Does it make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. Anyway, remember, no one else's opinion matters. Absolutely no one. Elton is about to bring me my pasta that I'm really excited to eat because I've been eating quite clean the past couple of days and I just want some carbs. Then we're gonna be shooting some drone content outside at the infinity pool and in the rice fields. Super, super excited. Follow me on the journey of my travels on Instagram if you haven't already, TikTok as well, and subscribe to this channel because I'll be so happy to have you as a part of this family. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to say a huge thank you. So yeah, this was Amina and this is my life in Bali, and this was my lesson of the day for you. So yeah, hope you have an amazing, beautiful, beautiful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I'll catch you in the next video. Yeah, promise me that you're gonna be there.